Everyone, welcome back to another lesson here on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to find a product to sell on Amazon in 2024. It's going to be a live product research masterclass, unedited, unscripted. I sell about $30,000 per month on Amazon FBA right now, currently with my brand. And I wanted to give you a few insights into how I found that, going over things like margins, competitive landscape, product criteria, and so much more. Be sure to stick around for the whole video so you don't miss out. And be sure to subscribe down below. One of the most important things that I think we need to cover first is that we're not looking for products like this. Now, there are a lot of Amazon FBA private label YouTube channels. I'm not one of them. And that happened because I went through all that and came out the other side and made some strategic decisions about what I wanted to spend my time building over the course of the next 5 years as an entrepreneur. And selling cheap garbage from China didn't really seem to fit my agenda. So what we have here is that exactly. It is a competitive landscape filled to the brim with competitors competing against each other on features and price. No one of these is truly unique. They're all just more for less or different colors, bigger bundle, right? No real equitable changes have been made here that would separate any one of these sellers from the next one. Sure, some of them will go on to sell 50,000 a month, like this one. This one's literally selling 50,000 units a month. And it's $9.99 for all of this stuff. So ultimately, the cheapest product is going to win when you start competing in this fashion. And it tends to be more of a race to the bottom. So I wanted to set the expectation that we are not looking for cheap products. We are looking for new solutions to problems that enthusiast customers have that maybe they don't even know about. They couldn't think of. We're going to get creative and sell in a category of one. We're going to make the competition irrelevant and build a real brand. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds arduous and like it's going to take forever, and I just want to sell products. Well, this is the way to do that. And it, to be honest, didn't take me much longer than a private label product. I've spent 6 months working on a private label product before. I no longer sell that private label product. I spent 6 months working on this brand. I now, for the last 11 months, have been profitably selling thousands of units a month of one SKU, easy to manage, and the growth isn't stopping anytime soon. And then the next question I get a lot of is it far more expensive to do this? You know, I have a made in the USA manufacturer, and well, my product's made in the USA by a US manufacturer. And our startup cost for this brand was just about $6,500. $5,000 would be a typical expectation of like what you would spend on a well-done private label product. I think for a reputable product in a category of one, to be $1,500 more expensive is worth it in my opinion. That required that we had enough inventory to make it through. We still did end up going out of stock, but that's long in the past. We've obviously never gone out of stock again, and selling super well. That being said, now that you understand a little bit more about what we're trying to achieve here during this video, let's jump into how to actually start looking for products that would fit our criteria, unlike this one. So I'm going to be covering the only product research method that you really need. So if you want to follow along at home and play around with the criteria that I'm using, it's actually a really good discount going on right now. So you can get the Diamond plan for 40% off. So instead of $279 per month, it's literally $168 per month. And then the Platinum plan, which is normally $99 per month, will only be $60 a month for the first 4 months. So a really good trial period. This is only going to last till the end of December 2023. If you're seeing this video past December 31st, 2023, then you missed that deal. Disregard. Those of you who it is still before then, I would jump on that. That doesn't happen very often. And it's a good way to hold yourself accountable. Make sure you actually find something so you can start crushing it in 2024. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to change out from products, and we're going to head over to the keywords option up top. This is a pretty interesting way of doing product research because it allows me to look at what customers are already searching, not just what products are already selling well. So I can get an idea for problems that customers are trying to solve. Now, search volume to me is really important. This signifies there's strong demand, existing demand. Although we might not necessarily only compete for that existing demand, it is a nice thing to see. So I'm going to put a minimum of 5,000 searches there, a maximum of 50,000 searches. Anything over 50,000 searches per month does get exponentially more difficult to break through in those markets because generally that much demand, you're going to have some players who are in the know there. If you're part of Savage Sellers, my private community on Patreon, you'll know what in the know means. Now, the next thing that we're doing is we're setting a monthly revenue minimum. I'm part of a school of thought that says it's better to have one product that makes you all of your money than 10 products, 20, 50 products. And now you're probably like, Paul, but what about diversification? I thought that was super important. And in the words of Warren Buffett, put all your eggs in one basket, but watch the basket. Okay. So as long as you know what you're doing better than anyone else, I don't think there's any harm in having a super profitable product that kicks butt. You can grow one product to 7 figures annually, or a very small suite of products. When I say one, I'm not like literally you only sell one product, because then you're not a company or a brand, you're just a product. But a very small selective suite of products that you can grow to very high revenues is going to be worth far more to potentially someone who wants to acquire your company than just a whole pile of garbage and everything sells all over the map. Some are winners, some are losers, and they have to manage a 60 SKU storefront. You'll have a higher multiple for sure. Anyway, monthly revenue, I'm going to put a minimum of $20,000 per month, and I want to see no more than $150,000 per month. That's a SKU where, assuming there's products 2, 3, and 4 lined up, again, very small expansion strategy, maybe 5 SKUs, 6 SKUs is the end goal where you might want to try and get acquired. If they're selling between that range, even if acquisition means nothing to you, it's going to make your life a lot easier, right? You want just a few products that sell really well. That's my strategy. And keep in mind, I'm saying anything regarding acquisition just from what I've read, what I've learned, and what I've researched for my specific route. Obviously, there are private label stores with hundreds of SKUs that can get acquired. But if you want to build a real brand that's worth far more, being really good at a few small things is probably better. So price that customers are going to be paying for the product should be somewhere between $14 and $50, otherwise known as kind of like the impulse buy range. This is going to make sure that we can get them to impulsively buy our product when compared to what's available. They'll see that we're so much different than everything else that it'll be stupid to buy from anyone else. Kind of like a version of Alex Hormozy's quote. Review count, I don't care for a minimum. Maximum, I'd say, is 10,000. Again, you're probably like, that's way too high. I can never compete against them. And that's just not true. There are certain decisions you can make binarily. I don't know if that's a word, but like, if this is not present, do this. If it meets this criteria, move forward. That you can compete with sellers with 10,000 reviews. I know because I've done it. I have 175 reviews right now. And one of my biggest competitors, who's only a few spots away from me on page 1, has 11,000 or 12,000 reviews now. It's because we're attacking the market with a different strategy. Their quantity, I'm quality. I'm premium, they are, what's the opposite of premium? Generic, I guess. Review rating, again, I don't care. Word count, minimum of 2. You don't really have to put that because you're really never going to get a single word in here with this kind of criteria. But categories is the next thing that we're going to want to really refine down. So arts, crafts, and sewing, home and kitchen. Let's do patio, lawn, and garden, tools and home improvement, and then let's do pet supplies as well. Maybe we do some musical instruments too. I like that. And now my approach when picking categories is that I'm really looking for 5 things, and I've said this a lot, so bear with me if you've seen my channel, know what I'm about to say. Feel free to skip forward 30 seconds. Enthusiast customer that is in an evergreen market. So the market's not going anywhere. It's not a fidget spinner. When we look at a Google Trends graph, we can see that this is here for the long run. Year over year, might have small peaks and valleys seasonally, but it's overall either flat or trending upward, growing market. And if you do decide to pick a growing market, well, a rising tide raises all ships. So you'll, by nature of just staying the same, you'll actually grow year over year, even if you don't capture more market share, just because your percentage of the market, instead of 7% market share, meaning $1.2 million a year, 7% market share might mean $1.6 million per year in a few years. So you see what I mean? There should be a problem to solve. Sorry, I keep itching my nose, by the way. Like, what the heck is going on here? It's like, it just keeps coming back and coming back. Problem to solve. So that's why people buy products. They have a problem to solve. I don't buy a new iPhone cord just for the hell of it. It's like, shit, I really want a new iPhone cord. It'd be so much cooler if this one was blue. No, not really. It's like, yours broke. Now I have a problem. Can't charge my phone. I need to go buy one. So what is that problem? And that could be as simple as that. Mine broke. I need a new one. They should have future problems to solve. So things that we can use products 2, 3, and 4. Like I said, small targeted attack on a marketplace to solve. And then they should be able to afford a better option and want to buy a better option. So don't make a better mousetrap, essentially. Right? It's like, if the $6 mousetrap works great, don't make a $60 one that has all the bells and whistles, because they don't need that. No one even wants a better mousetrap, right? And then, there's one that I'm missing, but yeah, maybe someone will put it in the comments. I'll think of it eventually. And we're going to hit search on this. There's a few small things that we can do in here, but we'll save that for another video. And this is pretty much it. We get to looking. And now I want to shift focus to competitive landscape. So like, who do I like to compete against? That's mostly what I'm looking at now is, what does the market look like? Am I needed here? How can I value innovate here? Meaning, how can I have a more valuable product than anyone else, but actually lower my costs? It's from a book called Blue Ocean Strategy. So is anything over-engineered that I can actually take away? And there are other aspects of the product or market that no one's competing on that would drive value up, but keep costs the same or even keep lower costs. We can take away some of what's over-engineered. And why over-engineering happens in product markets is that competitors compete. Usually not to the benefit of the customer, just to try and stand out, to differentiate. So I don't even like using that word. I want to sell in a category of one. Completely unique offer. People want to buy from me. I don't want to compete with Joe and Bob down the street selling the same exact thing, and now it's just the best marketer and the lowest price wins. Men's work gloves. Let's check that out. So I'm going to open that in a new tab. Mini candles, small trash can, dog, runner, fork, yard. I don't know what that means, but I'll check that out. Your main job as an entrepreneur right now if you're thinking about selling on Amazon, or maybe you've already started, is basically getting good at understanding what makes something opportunistic. Like, what is an opportunity, and how good am I in executing on my vision for something, doing it in a way that's profitable. So all I need is something to sell, people to sell it to, and good margins, and then consistent way to drive the people who want to buy my product to my product so they consistently buy it, and then I consistently make money. That's the whole thing, simplified, for a 5-year-old. Maybe I'd use slightly smaller words. But a lot of that comes down to this moment right now. You got Helium-10, you're opening it up, you're looking through all this, and it starts exciting, but then you start losing steam, and day 1 you did 3 hours, day 2 you did 2 hours, you skipped the third day, day 4 you did 1 hour, and then pretty soon you're rarely doing product research, and you just start to watch the videos again. Well, it could likely be that you don't have the skills yet in which you can reach out to a mentor or join a program that'll help you refine your skills so that when you actually look, you can be effective. Or you just need to increase repetition and start to compare what is it that high performers do and what is it that I do. And you can do that on your own, right? You can collect a bunch of different information from all over the place. That's what courses are, right? That's what mentors are, is they're just an amalgamation of data. They've done all the sorting for you. So touchless soap dispenser, I don't like at all that has an electrical component to it. That's not something that I want to get into. I think that's going to be probably impossible to make in the US. It's going to be a nightmare. Craftsman garage door opener. Well, they're looking for something. We don't even have to talk about that one. Specific brand. Thermal door curtain. Okay, I mean, I guess that's probably to lock heat in. If I had to guess, this is probably highly seasonal. It's going to be like a big spike and then never exists again. So it looks like maybe it popped off this year and there's some TikTok about it or something, whatever. Too seasonal, so it's not evergreen. Litter robot. That sounds like a thing that's specific. Someone's looking for. It's like an accessory to a brand item. And then same thing here. So let me do another 4. So kitchen window curtains over sink. Very aesthetic and design driven. So it's almost like selling art. It's like one of the hardest, most subjective things to sell in the world. And no one knows or can really say what makes some art worth far more than others, except for the individual. You could tell me your opinion, but it would be different than everyone else, maybe than a lot of different groups of thinking. Small, which makes that very hard to do. Sorry, that's where I was going with that. Small trash can with lid. No one needs a better trash can. Blackout shade for window. Again, lowest price is likely to win. So you can use some simple logic here of just looking at the idea and thinking, if I made this thing 5 times more unique or exciting, would this be the right market to do that kind of marketing in? Like I said, I don't want to sell against people. I want to just kind of be in my own lane. I don't think that's the right market to do that in, to be honest. Because again, it's like you just put something over your window. I mean, that's can only get so good. But there are things that you'll come across, like hat cleaner for baseball caps. Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Let's check that out. Hat cleaner for baseball caps. Oh, I know this. I think this thing is patented. Yeah, a patented hat cleaner. So all these listings will likely get taken down eventually. Some of them have been there for a very long time. So what's probably happening is we just have a lazy patent holder and they're not filing cease and desists. But yeah, I wouldn't want to get into that because, like I said, this is patented. But this is actually a really good example of what we're trying to do. So this is not hard to engineer. It's very simple welds. It's actually the cost to manufacture, that's probably quite low. It's not heavy. It's mostly just air and a few pieces of framing. by air, I mean there's a lot of spaces cut out of it. They went into a market where, okay, people want to wash their hats. I actually just threw out a hat recently that was like really dirty, and I was like, I can't really wash this thing. But anyway, they created a new solution to that thing, and then they patented that thing. And now they make, let's see how much they make. Helium-10, by the way, when you pick up your plan, also gives you the Chrome extension. So you just see how much listings sell. Go to the original. Ooh, man, I hate when it does that. The ball cap buddy, it's not reporting right now. But some of the ripoffs are doing, for instance, this one's doing 20,000 per month. This one does 90,000 per month. So you can only imagine it's somewhere close to that. Unintimidating, really. It's a good example of what we're trying to do. You could probably do that in the US, make that. So all we're trying to do is just find holes in markets like that, come up with new solutions. And that's a good example of like a category of one. Like there was no hat cleaner. So in a way, we're not like inventing things, but we're like half inventing things. We're looking at problems that people have. Hat collector or just average person can't clean hat. Okay, problem to solve. Enthusiast customers, arguable. Some hat people are definitely enthusiasts. I don't know that those people like the collectors would be using this. Don't want to get your hat wet, obviously, but yeah, that's not a bad example of what we're trying to achieve, to be completely honest. I think this will be a really good time to give out a homework assignment for all of you that are watching and actually want to take a few of the first steps to get you a little bit closer to your goal. Because being successful, reaching your goals is really just the ability to persevere long enough to see through that the outcome you wanted actually happens because you did all of the right things, not just 10% of the right things. So if I could help you by just holding you accountable, that'd be amazing. It'd make me happy. I want you to just use the criteria that I used in this video today and try and find 3 things, good things, just 3 things that you could sell, that some people sell and make money selling. Find 3 things. That is it. And then lastly, if you really want to move closer to your goals, join Savage Sellers in the link in the description, and I'll be hosting a live call this coming Wednesday, 1 week from today. If you're seeing this video and it's less than 7 days old, if you're seeing this video and it's more than 7 days old, no worries. I do one of these every 2 weeks, but this one's coming up this next Wednesday. And I'll be answering questions. And I want you to bring your 3 product ideas with you to that live Q&A. Okay, so I hope to see you in there, and I hope to vet a few of your ideas for you. I'll do it live. I'll pull it up, and I'll, again, show you the way to make those first skill gaps a little bit more narrow. The things you don't understand, and just get you to a point where you start to understand them, then you're going to be in a much better position. So dog runner for yard. And here's a creative exercise we might do in a market like this. What is everyone currently competing on? The features that they're currently competing on. And then it looks like that would be some type of clamp, some type of cable that's about 20 feet long, 10 feet long, up to 50. There might be a stake, add-on bag, etc. And now here's a good example of something that might be entirely over-included, over-engineered, however you want to phrase it. Both of these come with travel bags. How often do you think, honestly, for something that's 100-foot cable for a dog that you're putting in your backyard, are you going to take somewhere else with a backpack? And everyone's doing this. It's just like, hey, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to do that too. I'm going to do that too. Maybe they aren't. Just get rid of the damn bag. No one's going to travel with it. It's going to save you $1.50 or $2, and you can put that towards your margin because they're already not that expensive, right? So it's an easy thing that we can take away. So opposite to how most people like to think about things, let's strip away everything we don't need from the product. Okay, this is an interesting way of approaching it. Don't need the bag. What else don't I need? Well, maybe, are there like spare parts? Is any of this hardware unnecessary? Any of this hardware more difficult than it needs to be? I look at a listing like that and I'm actually finding that to be more valuable to me it looks a little bit less intimidating than like all this junk on the screen. The listing that actually sells the most is not the cheapest. There are products that are $10 that sell half as much as this listing, $12 that sell way less than half as much as this listing, and it is the simplest possible thing we can see. A really high quality carabiner and a cable. That's it. Take this as an exercise, not as a good idea. I wouldn't sell this product. Start by saying that. One of the things that could be happening here is that they have far more variations. So just more people are picking variations when they land on the listing. But you have to build this skill as an Amazon FBA private label seller / brand builder of getting really good at saying no to things and knowing a small list of criteria regarding, well, let me explain one of those to you in a second, why I should move forward or not. And in talking to some of my savage sellers, it's like one of the biggest things people say when they first come in before they've learned is like, I don't know how to make a decision. Like I get it in theory, but I never feel like I'm confident enough to move forward. Okay. So all that we have to do is get you confident enough that you feel like this is the thing that I'm going to do. And then you just stick with that thing for long enough to see results from it. So let's look at this, work gloves. Now, one of the things that I would say here is that I look for, by the way, is profit margins. I haven't touched on that too much yet, but this is a really small, light product that is selling for, in this case, this listing, Ironclad, nice brand, $26. So they're doing a pretty good thing here. Okay, they're doing what I do. Right? You make this strong brand presence, Ironclad. The name's in alignment with what the customer wants from the product. Right? It sounds heavy duty. It sounds like it's going to be durable. And then they show simple, unedited lifestyle photos of people working hard. What I would expect. I don't think you need a bunch of fancy infographics for this. One or two I would add, but you don't want an over modified listing here. Good, like almost like, it feels kind of funny to say this, but it's like almost like a good American cozy feeling. It's just like, yeah, this is a good glove. Buy it or don't. But that's kind of the target customer. And then this thing that they did here on the fingertips is exactly what I'm talking about. So we have these seamless patented Kevlar reinforcements, seamless fingerprints or fingertips, sorry. And now when I look at this glove compared to everything else in the market, in a way, it kind of stands out, right? Like that thing that they did on the fingers, I don't really see that anywhere else. They do it a little bit. They're starting to get at it. That's a way of innovating a product that likely set them apart initially and let them become one of the top dogs in the market. Because right away you kind of get it, right? It's like, oh, I'm not gonna like hurt my finger or something falls on my finger, like it's reinforced. You understand it right away when you look at it. Now this is really good. So check this out. They have this video ad and they're literally showing like someone cutting it with a chainsaw and 12-layer chainsaw protection. And it's not cutting their hand off. Great. That, again, is a really good way of showing like, hey, this is for this person. If you're using a chainsaw, we're selling to you. These are chainsaw protection gloves. These are nothing else. Okay, so when the market at one point in its infancy just was called work gloves, utility gloves, whatever. They came along, maybe not the first brand to do this, but someone was the first, and they marketed themselves as a chainsaw glove. That, in a nutshell, is what we're doing with brand building, and how the way that I sell on Amazon is different than the way that what you're used to hearing about how that works. Creating something for a specific person that's truly more valuable, that they understand and connect to right when they see it It doesn't need further explanation.